This episode of Destructoid is brought to you by Gamefly. Coming up on Destructoid, Valve is answering some prayers, Arkham City finally introduces us to the Joker, and the Diablo 3 beta is a go. All this and more coming up on Destructoid Live. Welcome to Destructoid. I'm Tara Long.
And I'm Max Scoville.
Happy Friday, Max.
Cheers,
cheers to our live
10
show.
points for Gryffindor. Here
We've been doing this for a while, Max.
We didn't do it last week. We
not last
scammed
week.
you guys. You missed out on the fun of the live experience.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with them though. I used to be really afraid about like fucking up the intros or something, and now I'm just
You
like,
said
bam,
fuck.
bam.
You said the fuck word.
Yeah,
already.
I did say the fuck
Good
word.
Lord.
Haha.
Okay.
So anyway, it's Friday live show. That means we got a contest for you. Giving away 2 copies of Warhammer 40k Space Marine for whatever platform you like. It's on PS3, Xbox 360, and PC. Just let us know what you want. To win, all you have to do is tweet. I'm watching at Detoid Show live on rev3.com/watch and youtube.com/Detoid. And I want to be a Space Marine. Hashtag Detoid Live.
You don't actually have to watch them on both streams at once simultaneously.
Neither do you have to actually want to be a Space Marine. You just have to tell us.
Who wouldn't want to
we'll
be a
give
Space
you the code
Marine?
Anyway, we'll give it to you anyway.
Don't encourage these people to have low hopes and dreams. That's terrible.
I do that every day on this job. It's
Tell
wonderful.
them about the Diablos.
Okay, I've got some news. Obviously, big news of the day is that Diablo 3 has been pushed back to 2012. We're going to talk about that during the second half of our show. And then Max is going to actually be giving us a 10-minute playthrough of the first 10 minutes of the Diablo 3 beta. That's happening later. We've got a Facebook poll going on over at facebook.com/Detoid Show right now, asking which character class Max should play during the second half of the show. So go vote on that in like the next 10 minutes, because it's going to end.
I want to be a
after
monk.
That. He wants to be a monk.
I think be a monk.
Last I checked, monk was in the running, so
yeah,
maybe.
Do it.
Anyway, let's start the show off because I have good news for fans of Dota. Valve announced today that we might be seeing the sequel sooner than expected. According to IceFrog, the designer of Dota 2, that's his name on the blogs there, their original plan was to put the game in beta for the next year or so while they added new features and built up their arsenal of heroes until they'd gotten the game roughly on par with Dota 1. Of course, if we've learned anything from Valve, or in particular from the Half-Life series, it's that their fans are a pretty patient and dedicated bunch. However, according to IceFrog, people just want to play the game already. He wrote in his blog post, quote, "The feedback we're seeing everywhere is that people just want to play it, even though there's still a ton of heroes yet to be implemented. Welcome to the new plan. We're going to take the current version of Dota 2, which has the international set of heroes, and get it out there as fast as we can." So hopefully that means maybe we'll see the sequel sometime mid-next year, or maybe even early, if we're lucky. Probably not early, but still. Too soon to tell right now. But are you guys happy about this? Because we haven't seen very much fanboy rage in the comments over Dota, and part of that is probably just because it's, you know, it's pretty far away from release.
Yeah.
But if you guys want us to talk about it more, let us know, and we totally will, because we know how to read comments with our eyeballs.
I just like that Bass Hunter song, Dota. Do you guys like Bass Hunter?
What's that?
It's this weird Swedish guy who sings about playing Dota with his friends. Yeah, anyway.
No.
Batman news.
Really?
Sorry.
It's the best way you could have introduced that?
It's bullshit. I don't know. Anyway, we've got some Batman news. It's a new trailer for Batman Arkham City, and this time it is all about the Joker, who we haven't actually seen in a trailer yet, officially, like a theme trailer. Like all the other trailers we've seen for this, it uses clips of the game and some dialogue to hint at what the villain's role might be. In this case, I'm guessing it involves the Joker's Funland, and there is Mr. Hammer, the one-armed clown we saw in a screenshot a while ago. Apparently the Joker is sick with some kind of bizarre ailment or disease.
Is
and
it early onset diabetes?
I don't know, but you'll see him at the end. He has things all over his face, like gross acne or something.
Oh.
He's probably going to be committing some crime too, because he's the Joker and he does that. But yeah, this is another trailer. It's fun. You should go watch it in its entirety. I think it's actually my favorite out of all of them, which is a surprise because I'm not really that big of a fan of the Joker. Now, in spite of all the themed trailers we've seen of the villains and all their different things they're doing, I have a feeling this is really just the very tip of the iceberg with this game. The first one they showed was Hugo Strange, who apparently is like running Arkham City, and I think there's just a lot more that we don't know about this game. I think it's gonna be crazy. And That's
exciting. It's going to be a pretty big game.
It's going to be a very big game. But yeah, that comes out the week of October 18th, depending on what part of the world you are. I think if you're in Europe, you have to wait until the 19th or something like that. But anyway, the game is done. It's gone gold. It's finished. It's not going to get pushed back or anything, so that's cool. And last episode, we asked you guys if you'd pre-ordered Battlefield 3, and a bunch of you guys went, fuck Battlefield 3, fuck yeah, Battlefield 3. But have any of you ordered the other big fall game that begins with Batman? Batman Field.
Noel Batman.
Did you? Let us know in the thing. We'll talk about that.
Let us know in the comments.
Anyway.
I've got some news about Counter-Strike if you guys want to hear it. Well, good and bad news, actually. Let's start with the bad stuff. Those of you intent on playing the game on consoles, which, by the way, you really shouldn't be doing unless you just don't own a computer, in which case, how are you watching this? Anyway, Counter-Strike is a game that's meant to be played on PC, as you probably know, but if you do plan on playing it on consoles, you will probably be not very surprised to hear that Valve is not planning on bringing the beta to consoles this year. According to Chet Falazek, one of the writers at Valve, the only way you're actually going to be able to try out CSGO on consoles will be at consumer shows. So there probably aren't too many of those between now and the game's release date, but hey, there's always Europe or something. They have all sorts of cons and stuff. Chet explained in an interview with Strategy Informer recently why they chose not to do a beta for the 360 or the PS3, saying, quote, "It's not really a good model for doing betas, real betas, on the console. Other console betas have been more promotional demos. We want to do a beta that's constantly changing and updating based on player feedback." He also mentioned that the PC beta is going to be extended a little longer than normal. We've actually got a code for it right here.
Let me see it.
Check this out.
It's a sweet trading card.
Is that a hologram?
It's lenticular. That's the technical term for that, as you can see.
Yeah. There's a code on the other side for the PC beta.
I'm not going to show the other side because then you'll read it.
Yeah, then you'll decipher it. But we're going to be giving this away on the show sometime soon, so watch out for that. Now for the good news. Valve has been working with the original creators of the Counter-Strike source mod gun game to develop 2 new arsenal modes for CSGO called Arms Race and Demolition, which are going to bring a total of 8 new maps to the game. Now, if you aren't familiar with the gun game mode, it's basically a round-based deathmatch where you start with the worst gun, the Glock, and then every time you make a kill, you move up the next weapon in line until eventually you get to the knife, which is your final weapon, and then to win, all you have to do is stab somebody with it.
That sounds easy, but when I demoed it at PAX, I think...
Well, we didn't demo the...
Well, the beta, I mean, the full game, whatever.
Game,
the gentleman whose Jim was interviewing in that clip, Chet Falazek or whatever, I think he might sort of have a thing against, you know, console-y people. He sort of scolded me for trying to play it like it was Modern Warfare, because I was just running up and like stabbing people and then just like holding on the trigger. He's like, okay, no. He literally came up, put his hand on my shoulder and was like, this isn't Modern Warfare. You tap the trigger, you tap it, and the knife doesn't do that much damage because it's a knife. You have guns. Use your guns. And
he was a little bit condescending to us, but in his defense, we are
really
terrible.
Sucked.
Like,
yeah. He was like, you don't play much Counter-Strike, do you? No,
yeah.
I don't.
I can't really brag that I'm good about it anymore because I haven't played in like 4 or 5 years, but, well, maybe not that long. Maybe it's been like 3. But either way, if you haven't seen our interview with him or our hands-on time at PAX, go check it out. It's on our YouTube channel. Just search for Counter-Strike Go.
Indeed.
It's there.
Now, one game that people have been hounding us to talk about, or I guess at least more on the Destructoid site, was Resistance 3, which originally was going to be reviewed by Nick Chester, but he fell into a sinkhole and broke his wrist and then decided to quit Destructoid and get a job working for Harmonix. So Jim Sterling took over his review of Resistance 3 and plowed through the game, and he's finally put that up, and that's there. Now this is Insomniac's latest installment in the PS3 exclusive series, and it puts players in charge of Joseph Capelli, who begins hiding in the underground with survivors in Oklahoma, and that sounds nice until he has to sort of fight his way out and then towards New York City, because these aliens are trying to make an artificial winter to kill off all the humans. Now, Resistance 3 has 8 different weapons, each of which can be upgraded twice, and Jim described the most fun to be the mutator gun, which causes aliens to break out in revolting hives and die, which is gross, and you can also make it so that it shoots like a cloud that infects a large group of them, and you can also infect them and then have them run into each other and infect each other, which is just kind of gross and funny and awesome, and I like fun guns like that. That's cool. Anyway, Jim praised the game's design, graphics, bosses, set pieces, and he said that the game suffered from enough bugs and glitches that really kept it from realizing its full potential. He gave it an 8 out of 10, and you can go read his full review on Destructoid.com.
I'm gonna go read his full review on Destructoid.com.
You are not.
I swear to God I am.
You are not.
Later.
Yeah,
like
okay,
next
sure,
year or something.
whatever.
Okay, so anyway, speaking of PS3, we got some good news for PS3 owners. If you were planning on buying Battlefield 3 for the PS3 this October, then you will probably be happy to know that you are going to get early access to all of the game's DLC a whole week earlier than PC or Xbox owners. So congratulate yourselves. This goes into effect starting with the first map, which is the Back to Karkand map. It's going to be the first PC DLC for the game coming out actually this year, so pretty soon after the game's release. Now, last episode, I asked you guys who had pre-ordered Battlefield 3 already, and based on your responses, it seemed like a lot of you have. Those of you who pre-ordered it for Xbox or PC, are you pissed that you didn't buy it for the PS3 now, assuming you have more than one system? Leave your regrets and willful hatred in the comments, and we will take them into account. I will read them later with a smug grin on my face because, PS3 owners.
We got a couple questions here.
Oh.
Punisher898 asked, Max, who is your favorite Batman villain? That is a really good question. I actually never really put much thought into it. I guess...
I like Two-Face, he's my favorite.
You've said that literally 3 or 4 times over the course of the show. Like every time Two-Face comes up, you're like, not many people know this, but Two-Face is my favorite.
I swear to God, I've only said that like once.
I'm pretty sure it's been at least 3 times. Anyway, my favorite, I've never like read anything with him, but I really like Black Mask just by his appearance. I guess I have a huge crush on Poison Ivy, so let's say Poison Ivy. We had another question. Dark Luffy said, what kind of products does Max use in his hair? Today I am using...
Murray's
I am
pomade?
using Murray's Superior Hairdressing Pomade. Look at this.
No wonder you're so greasy.
Look at this. My producer is yelling at me in the ear for showing this off.
I swear to God, my mom used to use that in the 80s.
Yeah,
Not even kidding
it's
you.
hilarious. The people on it, they both have, it looks like when people make
Look,
Wii
we're not doing an advertisement
Anyway.
for them.
What?
We're doing
Someone
an
asked.
advertisement
That's
for
the
Gamefly.
question.
So
Okay,
please thank Gamefly.
fine. I'll thank Gamefly. Okay, Gamefly is the largest online video game rental service and offers you a choice from over 7,000 new and classic titles across all consoles and handhelds. With plans starting at just $15.95 a month, Gamefly members can rent 1 to 4 games at a time and keep them for as long as they like. There are no late fees, no due dates, and shipping is always free. Once you're done playing a game, send it back, and Gamefly will send you the next available game on your list. If you really like the game you're playing, simply click on Keep It on the Gamefly website, and the game is yours at a discounted price. Gamefly will even mail you the case and manuals free of charge. Destructoid fans get a 15-day free trial when they go to gamefly.com/Destructoid. It's a great service, and it helps us make this show, so go check that out.
All right, so as you guys know, the Diablo 3 closed beta is underway. Max and I aren't nearly important enough to get access for something like that all on our own, but Nick Chester did, and he gave us his login info, and as a bonus, I now have Nick Chester's password. So I got a chance to play last night through most of the beta. Max hasn't had much experience with it. You tried it out a little bit before taping the show.
I played for a few hours before lunch, whenever.
But you played a little bit of Diablo 2 now, right? Did you?
Yeah, I mean not like religiously, but I worked at a copy center, and my boss was a huge nerd, so he installed it on one of our work computers, and we'd sit there clicking on gold because it was fun.
That's a fascinating story. So today we're gonna have you play through the first 10 minutes of the beta. It looks like the results of our Facebook poll have shown that people want you to play the Demon Hunter.
Lame.
Which is what I played also.
Okay, maybe the Demon
and
Hunter.
I can vouch that it's fun. So we're gonna have you do that so people without access to the beta can see what it's like. If you haven't already looked up a bunch of gameplay videos on YouTube, I'm sure a bunch went up last night.
I'm just gonna get going in this. So
yeah, get going in it.
My character is Diablo.
Diablo.
Come on, let's go. Come on.
They're create a hero.
Let's go. Okay, there we go. What?
Can we? Yeah.
Okay, Diablo.
Campaign.
Okay, wait.
All right, there we go.
Okay, campaign.
So, no, go back up.
Okay.
Okay, so the Demon Hunter is kind of the rogue assassin character in the game. We're going to talk a little bit more about the character classes later, but basically you use a lot of traps and ranged weapons, which I actually normally hate ranged weapons in games, but I think it's actually kind of really beneficial in isometric games because you've got 360-degree view around you. And also because attacking someone in Diablo is like as simple as clicking a button, so there's not a whole lot of like aiming involved. In fact, you barely even have to aim at all with the ranged attacks because the arrows pretty much seek out your enemies for you. Sometimes they'll even go through somebody and then come back around through them if they didn't kill them the first time, which is kind of cool. So yeah, disclaimer, I don't have a whole lot of experience with the Diablo franchise apart from my time with it at BlizzCon last year. We did like a 1-hour demo thing of Diablo 3, which is completely different than what we're playing now. But it is worth noting that I found it really easy to dive into as kind of a first-time player, probably even more so than World of Warcraft, which even now, after Blizzard has kind of streamlined everything and made it really simple in World of Warcraft, it still can be pretty intimidating at first. So they've got the 5 character classes available for the beta. You've got Demon Hunter, which is what Max and I played at. You've got the Barbarian, which is the same as in Diablo 2. It's pretty much the most aggressive enemy. It allows you to dual wield, or you can have a sword and a shield, whatever you like. There's also the Monk, which is the Holy Warrior. It's got fast hand-to-hand combat. It also uses these hand wraps as weapons, which are really cool. And half of your attacks generate spirit and the other half deplete it. So you gotta kind of use that to your advantage. We've also got the Witch Doctor, which is kind of like the Necromancer in Diablo 2. It uses the power of nature to cast spells. I was actually kind of curious about that one. I think that's what I'm gonna do on my second playthrough. And last but not least, you have the Wizard, which uses elemental powers. So what do you think of the game so far, Max?
Talking to chicks at the bar.
Oh,
Sup,
so
lads, me, Diablo.
In there.
Yeah.
Give us a rundown of your experience. What do you think of this compared to
Honestly,
Diablo 2?
I think it's really it's what I want. They didn't go too crazy changing stuff from what I can see.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love the simplicity of all it. That you can just walk over stuff to pick it up.
Yeah.
You don't have to actually click on stuff.
It's the kind of game that isn't necessarily fun to hear about unless you're like a hardcore fan, which maybe some people are.
It's definitely more interesting to play than watch.
It's so much fun. As I hate to call it, but it's like the Farmville effect. You know, you're just clicking on stuff and you're like, this shouldn't be fun, but it is, for reasons I don't understand.
It's a fun game though.
It's exploring wars and zombies come at you and stuff. Talking to them.
Okay, so I mentioned earlier in the show that Diablo 3 has been pushed back to 2012, much to the collective chagrin of gamers who have been waiting over a decade for this game now, by the way. It's been in development since, like, I don't know how long it's been in development for, but Diablo 2 came out like over a decade ago, so it's been a while. Blizzard never actually confirmed that Diablo 3 would be coming out this year. I think everyone was just kind of hoping that it would, so I guess we don't really have a right to complain about it being delayed. And plus, they're probably using the extra time to make the game better, not just like sit back in their chairs and fan themselves with money, which I would do if I was a video game developer.
Might be getting a golden ball pit full of golden balls.
Oh, that's
Hey guys, what's up? You wanna come in my trap?
So let's talk a little bit about the skills in the game, because that's something that's changed a little bit from the second one. In this one, you get skill slots, basically, that are unlocked by leveling up. So when you start the game, you can only use 2 skill slots at once, even though you have access to more of your skills. So certain skills get assigned to your left and right mouse buttons, and then non-specific attacks get assigned to your keys 1 through 5, which kind of makes sense given the point-and-click style of gameplay, but it can take a while to change skills sometimes. You also can't, for instance, cast a buff and then immediately swap to an attack because it'll cancel the buff. So they want you to kind of like plan your attacks before you go in. I was really impressed with the menu system. I thought everything looked really clean looking and simple to use. One of the things that I really prefer about this game over World of Warcraft, say, is that if you pick up items that you don't want or can't use, you can immediately convert them into scraps so that they don't crowd up your bag, and then you can use the scraps to make other stuff. Or you could just sell them in the auction house, which I mentioned earlier was going to be available during the beta. They don't have the actual real money one yet. They've just got the gold one, and as of now, you can only trade. You can only train items.
I just put on pants.
Right? You just put on pants?
They put on some cloth pants.
Yeah, I also really like the equipping system in this. It's just super easy, and you know, it'll show like what you have equipped now compared to other stuff. I mean, all games do that now, I guess, but it looks really nice. And what's interesting about the auction house is that it's actually not accessed in-game. Instead, you have to go through the main character select screen to access it. Interesting. Blizzard also announced last week that they're going to be teaming up with PayPal for the real money auction house. So if you play a lot and you find a lot of really good items, you could feasibly make back the money you paid for the game over time if you find enough good stuff and happen to sell it. So can you, do you want to check out the auction house for a bit? Like, can we log out right now and check that out? Just hit exit. Let's give it a go. Max.
I'm gonna go and log it.
Leave game.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we're gonna answer some viewer questions.
Gotta wait 10 seconds for this.
Interesting. All right. Okay. Let's take some viewer questions. In the meantime.
Viewer questions.
Matt's silence. Something happened there. Somebody asked on Facebook, is it worth buying when I haven't played any of the other Diablo games? Like I said, I haven't really extensively played any of the other ones either, but I do plan on getting this at the end of the year. It's definitely comparable to Torchlight or World of Warcraft or any other similar game, really, but I think it has a little something extra special to it. Steve Holt asked, what's the most devastating, satisfying, or awesome feeling skill/ability you've used? Also, can you customize the Barbarian to have Max's hair? There's actually very little character customization in this.
I was kind of bummed by that because I want everyone to have my hair.
Yeah.
What am I doing in the auction house? Do I want me to do anything interesting? It's
here's the auction house. So you can only sell equipment right now. You can't sell gems or crafting or anything like that. But go try to sell. Do you have any equipment yet that you can try to sell? Shared stash. Click on shared stash.
I'm looking at the restaurant.
Click on the arrow.
Okay. Okay, let's see what.
The arrow is me. I have stuff you can sell if you want.
You sure? Is this working? I know this is working.
All right.
I don't see it. Okay.
Well, it's beta. There you go.
Anyway.
Anyway, okay. Right, back to that previous question. What was the question again?
Attacks.
You can't customize characters. What was the question before that? Oh, the best skill and ability. Our producer really liked the roundhouse kick ability that you have. I also got one playing as the Demon Hunter. Also, the roundhouse kick is a Demon Hunter skill. There's one where you can shoot knives out in every single direction around you, and it slows the guys down around you, and they take damage for it, which is really cool. That's just like, and that's just the very beginning.
When I played Barbarian, I got up to like level 6. I had one where I just jumped in the air and then came down with my large hammer and just made like a kind of. It was handy for killing like legions of skeletons that were climbing on top of me.
Oh yeah, because there are a lot of areas in the game where you just get totally mobbed out pretty much, and at that point it's too late to even run away.
The working title for this game was actually Skeleton Clicker 3D. No one knows that but me, but
I think that's Diablo's kind of catchy,
might be a lie that I made up.
Okay, next question.
Okay.
Kyriakos Korsaris. Sorry, I can't pronounce Greek names if that's what you are. Is Blizzard serious about bringing Diablo 3 to the consoles? And if so, will console players be able to play co-op and or compete with PC players? They haven't officially announced anything yet. I know coming to consoles is probably in their future. Definitely not, launch or anything. It might be late next year till we see anything. But Jay Wilson, who is the game's director, did say that Blizzard felt that the control and style of the game lends itself well to a console, and actually added that they had tried a 360-like controller and that the game felt actually better with direct control over it. It still kind of remains to be seen how exactly, it'll work, especially like our producer pointed out, ranged weapons might be difficult on a console. If it's not in a first-person perspective. Yeah. So we'll see about that. But Torchlight managed to do it. So
yeah, I imagine it would play pretty similarly to Torchlight.
Michael Weatherall asked, is there a weapon switch key to switch between 2 weapon sets like in Diablo 2? I know there is a key to tab change skills. So there actually is no set key now to switch between weapons. There are still 7 hotkeys you can assign to skills in your 1 to 4 numbers, and then also you have your left and your right mouse clicks and tabs. You don't actually assign a skill to tab. You assign 2 skills to the right mouse button, and then tab cycles between them. I'm sure you probably already know that, but for everybody else, that's how it works.
Oh. Back up.
Oh, are you
some trouble there
hopping back into the game here?
Yeah, it wasn't letting me in. That's one thing is there is that whole you need the constant internet connection thing for it to be working.
Yeah.
So
I definitely got kicked off earlier when
that's kind of a pain.
But anyway, yeah, like I said, you won't be able to just like press W to switch between weapons. That feature has been removed. So I'm gonna skip this question. Let's go down.
Let's keep this interesting.
Keep going. All right, Sebastian Raburn asked, how well does it work on lower end systems? I'm rocking a 3-year-old MacBook Pro and I don't really want to upgrade unless I have to. I played it on my MacBook Pro, which is probably 2 to 3 years old. It went okay. There were some lag issues. I put it on the lowest video quality setting, and I think that's probably what you may have to do too, but it should be fine. You definitely won't need to upgrade. If you got a MacBook Pro that's within 3 years old, I think you'll be fine. Kyle Kenny Cody asked on Facebook, are there any huge differences in the combat style or gameplay? Apart from your weapons and skills kind of working a little bit differently, control-wise. The actual gameplay it's pretty similar. You would probably agree, right, Max?
Yeah, it's Diablo. You know, they're not trying to screw you
nothing
up.
radically different here.
Radical,
And
though.
finally, Eric Zong asked, how do checkpoints work?
You walk over them, and then when you die, you
all you
start
have to
up
do
back
really is just walk into the general area, unless you're like supposed to talk to somebody specific.
They're pretty simple.
It's like I said, like Blizzard is really good at streamlining things over time and making them very easy to use and kind of intuitive, and I think they've really accomplished that with this game. So that's probably why it's a little bit more interesting to me than previous Diablos. But I was also a wee child when Diablo 2 came out, so.
Oh, those were the days.
I wish, I was like 15, but yeah. I was thinking about boys and stuff then instead of video games. Anyway, that is Diablo 3. Thanks for checking it out with us. Thank you for your playthrough, Max.
It's fun to play.
We're going to have more news on this game, like probably in the next month or so, because BlizzCon is happening on October 21st through 22nd.
We're going to go there and complain to them that we don't have this game, each of us, yet.
But to sum up my thoughts, I'm really impressed with it. I'm 99% probably going to pick this up.
You know, I was kind of lukewarm about it, but then the second I kind of jumped in, and was like, oh, right, it's really fun to click on stuff repeatedly and pick up gold for hours. Like, okay, I probably want this too, so.
And I really dig the auction house aspect, that you can actually make money with it, because I'm not going to actually sit there and buy things with it, but I will sell things.
I also want to point out that I'm not a fan at all of anything like Blizzard has done art direction-wise, pretty much since StarCraft, like, just not my thing. This totally looks fine to me. I like it. It's pretty. It's like dark enough without being like muddy, and it looks magical without being too fanciful. So there's that. That's fun.
Yeah.
Let's see, what do we got for winners? Who won?
Let's announce those Warhammer winners. We got Splinter47 and Dansons on Twitter. Congratulations, guys. We will email you copies soon.
Your Space Marines.
Be sure to follow us at Detroit Show so we can DM you and get your address and information. And thanks for entering, everybody, and thanks for watching our live show.
Do we have a winner for our Counter-Strike?
That's not happening today.
Oh, okay.
That's going to happen probably in October sometime, because the beta doesn't start till October.
Okay.
Probably going to do it during that special thing that I haven't told people about yet. But anyway, we're going to be back here on Monday in pre-recorded format, so subscribe if you aren't already, and follow us on Twitter at Detroit Show. I'm Tara Longest, and he is Max Scoville. And that is the thing that we do.
That's this. We're done.
Technical difficulties aside. All right.
Yes.
We'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend.
Take care.